In my last video, I would have spoken about memory and how it came to be and our plans for beta testing soon. Well, it just so happened after that video, I was working on the security aspect of the app and I had got stuck somewhere regarding that. And instead of me spending time being frustrated, I decided to take a break and look at another project that we had a plan to do back in April last year, named Bara. So the idea of Bara came to be when we saw somebody on Twitter actually post about asking for an app that requires doubles vendors, see all the available doubles vendors, and you could rate them and whatnot. So that's how the name Bara came to be. Over time, we realized that it would make more sense to just add the other food types like pylori, pie, gyro, instead of just doubles alone. Because at some point, I know people are going to ask for it, so it didn't make sense to just do doubles alone. But the difference, we didn't want the app to just be about rate 1 to 5 stars, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose and doesn't give you clarity on the exact reason as to why. All the people do write like the 1 star, 1 to 5 and put like a comment, we still find that didn't really make sense. So we decided to go with what you would call a tag-based review. So how it works is that you would show tags based on the different categories. So availability, the affordability, taste, aesthetics, the vibe, and accessibility, and those other things. And you could put into one rating in a sense, which I would show you. So I started working on this a month ago, well, the first week of February. So we would have just had the concept already, but because I had no idea how the UI would have looked. So I had to do like a quick draft of how it would look and use Codex to assist me with actually populating and creating the app from scratch, which I would show you in this next iteration. Here is currently our landing page for Bara, which is subject to change. So it says, see where it's open before you go. Discover street food across Trinidad and Tobago with community check-ins and ratings. And we have the problem, you have been here before, you drive across town, you reach, it is closed, or worse, it is open, but not worth it, because I'm sure everyone has experienced this at some point living in Trinidad. And we say this is why Bara exists, a live map of street food across Trinidad and Tobago, powered by real people, not guesswork. Because the concept of the app is similar to how Waze works, where like how persons would report like police or accidents. So say example, you go to a food place and you check in to show whether it's open or closed. So that way other users would have an indicator of what is going on exactly. So as you scroll along, here's just a list of how to look for the vendors with the mini vendor card indicating it's open and the tags. So how this works is it would show the different tags based on the ratings. For example, availability, pricing, service, and you would see the amount of votes that this card or this vendor would have gotten, which is the top 4 you're seeing here. But these screenshots are a little outdated, so they'll have to be updated soon enough. And the main core is this 4 here, which is the crowd indicator, the satisfaction, which is based on a different category, which I would expound further when we open up the app itself, and the taste. And well, this is just the in terms of like the community verification. So how this works is if persons check in, a certain amount of persons check in, it would automatically flip to the verified badge. And the same thing for suggested edits, like if you want to change things that make sense and improve. Right. So I'm going to show you the Trello, which is kind of like our project planning for the app, which is the backlog of like basically the UI, references, the user flow, database structure, as well as to-do list. As you can see, it's short now because it wasn't short like this a month ago. These are just the outstanding things in it pick. It missing the push notifications, so that I'll have to add after. So for testing, what you have been doing is we're using, on iOS, you do it through something called test flight. So you have internal testing and external. But you see with internal is that it requires you to use, for for users to add users to your account, and that's a little iffy with adding users to the actual developer accounts. So the other approach is to use the external link, where they will get a public link and any person who join could use it, but they will have to install the test-flight app first, which Apple uses for testing. However, the thing with Apple, though, when you submit beta builds, that they have to approve it. So this one in particular, we are waiting for it to be approved. Yep, still in approval. I submitted this after 2 a.m. this morning. Yeah. So from there, we can move on to the app, which you'll see it here. Let's fix it just now. All right. So this is the app. So when you open up the app for the first time, users would see this onboarding, but you'll be continue with Apple, continue with Google, continue with email, and continue as guests. For this case, I'm going to continue with Google. I sign into one of my accounts. Right, so it's similar to what you saw on your website, just indicating to the problem to the user what it is about the app. They click next, and you get the features indirectly, so you could try check in to show open, and see that thanks you help the community. Close, the same thing. Next, and the tags to vote. So based on the tags, it have a positive and negative impact, and this would affect overall rating based on the number of users who would vote. And well, which is most important to the app, it uses your location to show those vendors, well, I'm ready those vendors, the food places close to you. While using the app, sure. Allow more tracking. Sure, continue. This is for the ads in the app. Allow. Alright, so in this video, you would see the places are populated close to me, which is, Moscow doubles, VNV doubles, British doubles, gyro, and whatnot. So I'll show examples. So say example, I will do salmon gyro, so it will show you the food type, how expensive, and if it's open or closed, but right now it's unknown because somebody hasn't checked in, and well, how far it is. So I suppose if you click directions, it's supposed to open up your maps and would open up the directions indicator, business, and tell the ETA, just 8 minutes. Well, it'll be, like I said, it's estimation. And well, if you try check-in, of course, you'll be closer to check-in. So when you go to click the vendor card, you would see the full details to observe the community activity, which I show. Your little ads here, and like I said, so it's based on availability, taste, pricing, comfort and cleanliness, freshness, portion, service, vibe and access, and texture. You can also suggest a tag, which you can see here. And if you have any outdated, well, you could suggest changes. It could be the name, location, you add a photo, the food type, the price level, payment methods, and well, the other. So when you click the flag here option too, you could actually report a listing. For different reasons, if you have a duplicate listing, you can actually search for the vendor or whatnot, or if it have inappropriate content of the photo, let's select which photo it is, the listing or description, which is not here right now, and then you submit the report to us and we will review it accordingly. So as the app, gains more users and populated, that the ratings would, actually reflect on the app itself. One thing I forgot to show is how to add a vendor. So the easiest approach is to be where the vendor is, which will be the location, and you would see the plus sign here. You click the plus sign, and you can either use your location or move it, the estimated of where the vendor is, which can vary. So you click use location and you put the vendor name and what food do they sell, which is doubles, bacon shack, barbecue grill, burger, chow, coconut, gyro, pylori, pie, and etc. etc. So you select the appropriate and the price level. This is subject to change. It just gives you like a quick guide of like what the exact pricing usually is for doubles. Doubles are usually a low cost quick bite and a good budget. So usually between the first and second one, between $4 to $10 usually. And the photo, and once you add it, it will show up on your listing. However, it will show as unknown, as for this example here, which would show that is not yet community verified. And how this works is once persons check into the location after a certain period, it would automatically be community verified. And lastly, I wanted to show the Codex. So Codex is an AI agent coding tool from ChatGPT. So how it works is you can prompt it. For this case, this was a separate app we plan on working on, which I would have done the prompt from ChatGPT itself, just to give it the specs. That's what the outline for the goals and product rules, the team in terms of the black and orange, and how the app would flow in terms of the navigation. To have a dashboard and the authentication, and well, the data model, which is what we're using for Superbase. And yeah, so once we did it like this, it would have generated the app and give like a breakdown of what it would have done. And if I had to refine it, for example, there I asked it navigation, what it look like that. I don't like any text icons. So I would have made the changes and I would have iterated accordingly. This was how it looked in the earlier days. And yeah, I'm using it. It's cool. I do, of course, review the code, of course, because I would not just let it just change code and not review it and just commit, because that's crazy. And well, you have, your rate limits in terms of how much usage you have, in terms of the weekly limit and, the 5 hours limit. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell for the Codex. The overall thing of the app. Here you could also view the profile as well, which will show the contributions, the points, and you earn points based on what you do within the app. So check-in is 15. Suggested is 8 points. I think add a vendor is 2. And voting for a vendor is 5. Because the main core is the check-in, which is the most important thing of the app. So you want it to reflect that and to, I guess, ensure that users actually incentivize users to actually use it how it's supposed to use it. Oh, and lastly, we have this, a subscription, which is optional, called Bara Insider. All it does is it removes ads and you can upload up to 5 photos per vendor as a way of additionally, supporting the community. This is subject to change here in terms of the trial and the pricing. And lastly, the, achievements, which goes based on, the point system which you would have earned. So it'll be check-ins, edit suggestions, vendor votes. If you're unsure, for example, you can actually click the help, see what you have to do. Open any vendor page, tap outdated info, submit accurate results, a short note to earn 8 points, and keep submitting to increase. And based on your status, I'm sure we would definitely plan additional features based on that, in terms of trusted users and whatnot in the near future. And this is it for the app. I'm not sure when we'll actually plan to launch. I hope soon. Well, actually based on feedback and testing and whatnot, because trying to do both the Android and the iOS version to launch together at the same time. Cross fingers. It really depends on the feedback that we've gotten. But so far, so good so far. But I see the potential in this app in terms of what it can be. And we'll see how that goes. And of course, up memory is still happening, definitely. It's just once this is dealt with, memory will definitely be soon after.